Welcome back to Wholesome House Spotlights. I know it's been a minute. We are glad to be doing yet another spotlight. We are joined by the one, the only Danny M in the building. So everybody say what's up, what's up?
What's up?
So we've been saying in our group chat, shout out to the group chat if you all are not aware of the group chat, but we were always talking about that, like we need our soundboard. We're so used to our soundboard now when we're doing the podcast. So we got John, we got Troy also at the table. They're going to help us out with some of that sound as well. You all know that's not literally
I
the
know
role.
what we missing. I know what we
That's
missing.
not literally the role, of course, today, but you know, you all know how we do these. We're gonna be working on a little bit of a craft to, you know, just kind of keep our hands doing it. That's just the nature of this generation, you know. It's just like having four screens at once. We just like doing stuff.
Yeah.
But we're happy to have you join us at the, I guess this is officially like the Wholesome House table.
Okay.
You all obviously usually see us at the couch, but this is Wholesome House table. But we want to get into, obviously, our spotlight today. So we hear that you have a project out. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about kind of your general journey as an artist. As you know, as our viewers know, we all are very large fans of the genre of hip hop in particular, but just music in general. So we'll have a lot to discuss as far as the music side of things, but we also want to get to know you a little bit more as well. So
I'm an open book, man.
let's just jump into it. I'm gonna actually start opening some of the Play-Doh as well, if y'all could help me. So first, well, could you introduce just your project so that we can explain why we're doing why we got Play-Doh here as well?
All right.
So let us know a little bit about what this project you just released.
Okay, so I just recently released my second EP, titled Built-In Growth.
Yep.
Acronymed it to BIG, you know what I mean? I don't know why I feel like that's a great selling point, but you know, I call it my big project. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Just because the time frame from Cruel Winter to now, and like just documenting that growth as best I can.
Okay.
I feel like that was the point of that project. So again, built-in growth was like the best way I could
Yeah.
sum that up.
So I'm gonna put obviously a picture. I guess it's not obvious to say obviously, but I'm gonna put a picture of like the cover art at this moment because clearly, so we've all listened to the project and caught on to a lot of themes, but most importantly, your cover art is, I'm assuming it's a picture of you at one point, a younger version of you, of course.
Baby Danny, yeah.
That's baby Danny, okay. And we have this kind of growth theme. So that's one of the reasons why we brought out the Play-Doh, just to kind of get back in touch with that version of ourselves. I don't know how creative we can get today, but it's spring, so I'm gonna try to make a flower or something. That's gonna be my goal.
Go crazy.
But yeah, let's talk to us a little bit about that idea of the growth. What does that kind of play into as far as who you are in this moment, and what motivated you to express yourself in that way? Why is that such like a major thing going on right now?
I would just say the time frame. You know what I mean of everything. Just because, like I said, from 2018 when I first dropped Cruel Winter to now 2026, that's a 8-year difference.
That's
you know
a long
what
time.
I mean? So
a lot happens in that time.
a very, very long time. And in that time, I've developed so much information and kind of like understanding of life. You know what I mean? That I didn't necessarily see until the end process of the project. You know what I mean? Until I wrapped it up. But ultimately, like I was saying, throughout that whole process, stoicism was one of the main topics that I came across. You know what I mean? And that whole philosophy of just living life in a way of understanding your struggles is meant for character development.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And not seeing everything as it's happening to me, but rather happening for me. So through that, a lot of these songs is me just analyzing, and not only analyzing like my traumas and my past and stuff like that, but it's also where am I going forward?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What am I manifesting past this point? So that was like the main thing that I wanted to like kind of get across in that project.
So just to provide a little bit of additional context, I know, when you refer to Cruel Winter, you're referring to this project initially, but it's also, am I getting this correct, like a label of sorts that you've kind of developed yourself as well? Because there's a lot of references to Cruel Winter, but I know we're not talking about that initial project throughout this project. So tell us a little bit about that and sort of what your vision and goals and how that has implemented its way into, you know, your journey as an artist. Also,
Cruel
this
Winter.
Play-Doh smell is taking me back.
Yeah.
It still smells the same.
It is
They have not
nostalgic.
changed the recipe, if anyone's wondering. This
It's the
is
same.
this
Play-Doh.
is the same Play-Doh
Same
from back in
grandma
the day.
back there
Yeah.
making the Play-Doh, man. She been back there 60 years cooking up a Play-Doh. Nah, my bad. The question again?
Yeah, just kind of tell us a little bit about the label side of this. You know, it's also, it seems to be a brand of sorts. It seems to be sort of like just an identity adjacent to, you know, the identity of of Danny M. So,
Yeah.
kind of how has that been implemented in your journey as an artist as well?
Okay, so Cruel Winter definitely started off as the EP's title.
Yeah, right.
And after that, it became the label because of what it stood and what it meant for me.
Okay.
Of again, perseverance. When we think of winter, we think of, you know, things decaying, things
Boy.
dying, you know what I mean? And then not
Talk
only
about
just
it.
that, but being from Michigan,
Yeah.
like we know winters is cruel.
Ain't no light. Like
Yeah,
we
exactly.
don't know no easy winters. For real.
Exactly. So with that being said, and also wanting to always center everything around who I am and where I came from and my roots. Like even when you look at Danny M, that's Detroit, Michigan. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything is centered around where I come from. You know what I mean? So Cruel Winter is not just speaking on Michigan's winter, it's speaking on that time of life. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. It's not just speaking on the time of life, it's speaking on Michigan, it's speaking on, you know, everything that I know. And then knowing that through those winters, you still get spring, you still get summer. They don't last forever.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? That philosophy of stoicism, just wrapping everything back around like it's a way of life. Cruel Winter is a way of life. You know, it's not just a brand, it's not just the EP, it's a way to live.
You're very aware of yourself.
Yeah, I try to
which
be.
Is,
I try to
which is
be.
pretty great. You know,
try to be.
I can appreciate that for sure.
Everything's very
Especially when it comes to like the world of artistry. I know, like, when you start to discuss, I guess, purpose behind creation, I think it can oftentimes get muddied. You know, I think there's sort of this false dichotomy of like creative people are just these loose, you know, random, I just go with the flow and whatever, versus people that are more logical and like but you definitely kind of have a good balance, and we can definitely already kind of hear and see the intentionality behind who you are as an artist, which I think is really great. So that being said, you know, talk to us a little bit about each individual tracks that you've, you know, utilized to comprise this recent project, and some of the things that stood out to you in terms of when you were writing. What is some of the places that you were pulling from, and, you know, the inspiration behind a lot of, you know, a track by track basis?
Okay, so
You don't have to go literally one to
no,
the last one, but just
100%.
like some of like the, you know, maybe your favorite one, or, you know, just one of the things that you really kind of had to maybe dig deep to write, or something like that.
all of it.
I was gonna say I can also just we could pull up the track and say, all right, you know.
No, I was gonna say, like, because I'm still fresh in that mindset. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, just because I released a project is not that, you know, I'm completely done. Like, growth is one of them things that's infinite. You know, as long as I'm still breathing, I'm still growing, you know, hopefully. You know, a lot of people get older, but they not necessarily growing. You know what I mean? But from that mindset, I would say a lot of those songs came from having to dig deep, but unintentionally. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of those songs didn't just come out like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna write about growth. Like, it came from like subconsciously sitting back and realizing, like, damn, this shit share a common topic. You know what I mean? And like, what is that? What am I trying to say? Because subconsciously, I feel like I'm trying to say something even to myself, not just the world. You know what I mean? So what am I trying to say? And I can tell you, like, it's been plenty of times me and Red, we sitting in the studio, bro, and I just start crying, like, listening to that verse, or like writing a verse, because it hit me that deep. Like, no, that shit really is like, that's what it was I was trying to say.
Shout out to you admitting that, you know.
100%.
We as black men don't cry, right?
Shit, I cry, bro. I cry 100%. And it could be for joy, it could be from hurt, it could be from confusion, it could be from, like, that's one of them things. And that's also I didn't get a chance to share that inside the project, but the original project was supposed to have, because during that time I was going into therapy.
Okay.
So originally the project was supposed to have clips from like my therapy sessions of me
Whoa.
talking about like to my therapist about the project and like about, you know, different phases in my life. You know, I kind of like decided against it because I'm like, I don't know if I'm sharing too much. And it's not that I'm scared, but it's just like, I'm not sure if my artistry is at that point where it would matter yet. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, maybe.
So it's like a time thing, you think, as far as...
Like maybe you saving it for later.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Of course.
So is that, I mean, you'd have to be in therapy for quite a long time then.
I mean,
Do you
so
foresee yourself to, like, you know, still be in a different headspace, or like, because that's, you know, that's just something to consider.
Yeah. No. Honestly, I don't think that it was ever like, because I feel like even with psychology or therapy, there's a negative connotation that comes with that.
1000%.
You know what I mean?
Especially with, yeah.
And I think in that moment when I decided like I'm gonna do, you know, therapy, I was looking at Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. I'm not sure if y'all are like familiar with him.
Yeah.
Like I was doing a lot of his, like I was watching a lot of his lectures. I was watching a lot of like Manly P. Hall, you know what I mean? Like a lot of Hermeticism, and, you know, just finding out a lot of things about psychology and, you know, esoteric teachers and stuff like that. And that kind of got me into thinking, well, damn, like if everything is inward and I'm just looking at the reflection outward, like maybe I need to start there.
Interesting.
You know, and I think that kind of like flourished my love for like psychology. So that made me want to even more so go into therapy. Like, damn, what can he tell me about me? Like, what am I giving off? You know what I mean?
And so, you know, I have to ask, you're kind of giving us the alley-oop here. Like, how would you say that has impacted your artistry? Like, I guess your fascination with the world of psychology, how do you think that has been able to allow yourself to maybe even articulate certain things differently, or maybe even more abstractly sometimes? Like, in what ways do you think those have been connected in your journey, since we're talking so much about growth, you know? Yeah.
Nah, I would just say,
We gotta kick his feet up. This is the therapy session
Right,
now.
right.
We're getting too deep.
No, it's not too deep. It's not too deep at
how
all.
do you really feel?
I think it's just knowing, like, don't worry about the articulation, because everybody's going through it. You know what I mean? So don't necessarily worry about the articulation. Get the raw emotion out. Get how you feel out, because that's probably what people are going to connect to most.
True.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be the most, oh, he was eloquent and he spoke on that heartbreak so well. It was like, no, he said exactly what the fuck I was feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I hate you. Like, that's not eloquent. That's not eloquent at all. You know what I mean? Like, that's straight to the point, but it gets the job done.
Absolutely.
You know
I
what
don't think you said that on any particular track in this project, so don't go start swiping like, where's that one?
Which songs is he talking?
I want that one.
Talking crazy, right? Nah. But there is, if y'all listen on the fade, like there's actual like snippets of like an actual argument that I had, and like, you know, my partner for real, like she was kind of going in.
That's the one with Daniel Hex.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's get into it then. Let's talk about some of, you know, the actual tracks. So I don't know if there's any particular one you'd prefer for us to really dive into, but
I'm here for whatever, bro. I'm here for whatever.
One of the songs that sticks out to me the most is "I Wonder." I think there's this natural, I guess, affinity to the production. Naturally, you know, I give it to, you know, shout out the sample, of course.
Right.
But
Shout out my guy.
I feel as though I love that it's like you kind of get that like Detroit version of it. Basically, it's really fun. So y'all check out this track.
Yeah.
But I think the beauty of just that sound is it really does capture this sort of, and one thing I did actually particularly notice is because you did a video for that one as well. You did like a visual.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, you kind of have a little excerpt where you all are kind of discussing, you know, this idea, this dream, right, of sorts, and just looking towards like the future and wanting to make the dream come true. And that's sort of like the theme of that sound of that production, that whole sample, if you trace it back before Kanye to my song. And So, what is like the intentionality behind that as far as when you get into the mode or you get into the position of, okay, like, I know this is what I'm feeling. I know this is what, this is the raw, even if it is, I hate, it is, I wonder, it is, whatever.
Yeah.
When does that collide with the purposefulness of like, this is what I want this to actually sound like? Because at some point that has to happen, right? I know it's great to say like, get your emotion out, but at some point it does turn into, all right, I'm writing a song now.
Right.
So yeah, where does that kind of like journey happen for you?
I would say, first of all, songs like I Wonder and Closer Than Close was never supposed to be, just because
They weren't supposed to exist, or like not supposed to make it.
No, they weren't supposed to exist because I was just so, knowing my artistry and knowing like my message, I was so against like doing the Detroit sound because I felt like I was doing it disjustice.
What?
Like, you know what I mean? Just because, again, like...
But I kind of like that, how you started that I Wonder song. You was like, I feel like I should say something real, like...
Some super cool rap shit.
But I feel like that's what made it kind of go for me, you know what I'm saying? Because it almost like kind of contradicted the, expectation with that type of sample, so...
Respectfully. And to your point, I think that the contrast is what made me be like, no, damn, it's kind of hard. Like, no, like, I mess with this. But it was also just like, again, like I said, first of all, I have a very small circle. My circle probably consists of me and Red, real life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really go out. I don't do none of that. So a lot of my input is either from, supporters of my art or is coming directly from being in the studio with Red. You feel me?
Okay.
So... And she's like a huge supporter of Detroit music, bro. Like whether it's Baby Money, whether it's, you know what I mean, All Star JR, if it's whoever, Sada Baby, regardless.
Right
yeah,
like JR,
like no, but for real though, like she's a genuine supporter of the Detroit sound. She was like in my ear, like, no, I feel like you should get on this beat. I'm like, I don't really know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I would do it justice, but, after she heard, I think Closer Than Close was like the first out of that series, or it was one that I haven't released yet. But out of that series, she was like, no, you got to do that. Like, make a bunch more like that. So that was kind of like, that was like a batch of songs that came from that. But ultimately, to get to your point, because I know that was a little bit long-winded.
Take your time.
To get to your point, like, it does hit a point where it's like, after the first few bars, I'm like, what do I have here? And not only what do I have here, this shit hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta keep going in this direction. Like if I don't get that feeling from a song, I'm not gonna continue with it. Like if I don't get the feeling of like, cause I feel like I can look myself in the mirror pretty easily and say like, bro, yeah, you still got room for improvement. Regardless on whatever level I feel like I'm at, there's still gonna be that room, that ceiling to go touch. You know what I mean? So yeah, like once I get to that point of like, no, this shit hard, I really need to go and poke that button. Whatever that button is, like if it don't continue to give me that feeling as I progress through the song, then it's like, no, we gotta go back. We gotta redo something.
Cool. All right, we're on. No, that was beautiful. Yeah, great job. So we're gonna take a quick pause here. I want to give a quick update, and then we're gonna tag somebody in. Let's take a look at what we're creating so far. We got Danny M's.
Pretty simple. We're pretty simple.
So the thing I like about this is we were talking about the raw emotions, right? So clearly we're feeling good right now.
Yeah, I'm happy right now.
If he puts some angry eyebrows in here,
the mood is changing.
Then we got my little sunflower over here. Shout out to little soil pebbles. Contention to detail.
Nice.
Troy, what we working with?
I'll be honest. I think I got a little trophy kind of thing going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
These seem like very cartoonish colors.
I didn't see the other arm. I thought it was a mug at first.
I did too. I thought it was like a root beer can, like a root beer mug or something. Yeah.
I was trying to make an ice cream cone, bro.
Oh, I was thinking tree.
The colors make it.
I was definitely thinking like a surreal tree or something like that.
I like it.
Either or, bro.
Art, bro.
We got Wade Master J, one of your host with the most, man.
My dog.
With the Wholesome podcast, you know what I'm saying? Here with Danny M. I did have a few questions, man. I got a chance to listen to the project. I actually listened to pretty much everything you had on Apple. I listened to most of it on the way back here from church. So it's
Hold on, I hope it ain't mess up the
no, it was after.
man.
No,
You
no, no,
said I was
no, no,
listening
no, no, no.
after church, man, like-
After. It was after 12, bro.
Okay.
Spirit.
You know
Okay,
what I'm
right?
saying? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Nah, but and I found it interesting, like just I guess on a little more personal note. I saw that your first project came out July 4th, 2018. My first project actually came out like July 1st, 2018.
Okay.
Like 3 days before, bro. I was looking, I was like, dang.
In that same round.
So when if you can remember, like where you think your head was kind of when you were making that project versus kind of like maybe some of the things you were bringing into your most current work, because you said it was definitely a gap in between those projects, and you were kind of, so I saw you had like a few singles and certain things. So
When I made Cruel Winter, I was in a state of like high delusion. Like when I say high delusion, I thought when I dropped Cruel Winter, bro, like that was gonna be one. Like that was gonna hit the streets and I was gonna be out of there. You know what I mean?
how it be
like,
with first projects,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
He'd be
yeah.
like, bro, like nobody doing what I'm doing right here, bro.
Bro,
what I formulated here, right here, bro. The
Like,
way these words being put together,
Nobody
like,
ever said nothing like this.
like this, bro.
No, so that was kind of like the mindset for Cruel Winter, even during the making of it.
Yeah.
I was like going to the studio. I'm thinking I'm doing something. Like I'm in the studio. I'm paying for the time. I'm recording. I'm like, yeah, this shit's great, bro. Like getting the footage,
Yeah.
drop it, and then it's like
You know what I'm saying?
it kind of fall flat a little bit. But then you like, all right, maybe it's just this one wasn't the one. You know what I mean? Like maybe I need to push it a little bit harder. So during that time, like I said, I was just in like a state of high delusion. Like I felt like everything I couldn't do no wrong. Like I had the Midas touch. You know what I mean? And then the transition from there to, built in growth was the realization that no, bro, this is an actual job and you have to put in actual work. Like the components kind of just became more obvious to me in that span.
What do you think changed about your creative process? Do you think maybe as far as you went about like making a song or maybe choosing certain production for songs, like how did you even like get started with like this project? Like was it the beats? Like did you have like an idea of the kind of overall sound you kind of wanted to go with? Like
I didn't even know it was gonna be a project. Like again, I was just making songs and kind of just experimenting with my sound. Like what's gonna sound good, like because I feel like I'm gonna know it when I hear it, and also just because I was going through so much growth mentally, it's like where do I fit into the space of hip hop sonically?
right.
You know what I mean? Because we got artists like Kendrick, we got Cole, we got Drake, we got
what can I really contribute that someone else hasn't already kind of done? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And how do I formulate that perspective and package it for people to want to listen?
Exactly.
And during that time, like again, a lot of people, especially now, we say COVID was like that turning point. Man. And honestly, I could say that was literally the turning point for me because once, because I was a server at the time. So like once COVID started, I'm like instantly out of a job. But with being out of a job, I got free time and I'm getting those checks. So I'm seeing it as a sign, like, if I'm getting these checks, bro, and I got all this money at this one time, I don't want this moment to pass me by, and I don't get my equipment. Like, I don't get no microphone. I don't get nothing to contribute to what I'm ultimately trying to manifest. And, like, that was the main thing. Like, I didn't care about it, because at the time, I was living with my girl and her moms and stuff like that. I wasn't caring about none of that, bro. I'm like, bro, I got this money. I'm about to get this equipment. Like, listen, exactly. The time is now. I need you to just bear with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I would say that was the shift because it started making my creative process a little bit more streamlined. Yeah. It's like I can download songs into the DAW now and I can loop them and I don't have to be on YouTube for hours and
trying to get
Exactly. So I would say that was the main thing. And then also during COVID, I started meditating. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And got introduced to like Taoism and, again, philosophy and stuff like that. Like all of these things was just like taking place in like a short amount of time. and I kind of just utilized all of that to like centralize it back to my music. So anything that I learned is like, how can I make this relate to my music or my craft?
That's dope.
Oh, absolutely. We talked a little bit about the Fade. It was the only feature Daniel Hex that was on the project. Was there like a reason why you chose him specifically? Like, how'd you
So
end up connecting?
first, my dad, he's a huge fan of like Royce 5'9",
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean, Eminem and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like exactly. And with that being said, you know, he's always told me stories growing up in the hip hop scene and, you know, rapping with Eminem and knowing these people from a personal level. So when he's talking about them, like, he's like, no, bro, you gotta really lock in with Daniel, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yeah.
and this was years ago when, you know, the Lost in the Woods, because I think he was originally supposed to
Yeah,
perform there.
yeah.
And he had seen the flyer and he's like, no, lock in with Daniel, bro. Like, if you can, like, I'm telling you. I'm like, man, I don't really want to do that, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm working on what I got over here, respectfully.
Exactly.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, I don't want to feel like I'm trying to utilize, you know, or leverage somebody's, you know, notoriety, you know.
Of course.
So I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. If it line up, obviously, then I will.
Of course.
You know, and then at the time, I had never even knew who he was. You know what I mean? So you just bringing this person up and telling me like, oh, you should do it for this reason. It's like, no, bro. You know, it ain't no authenticity in that. But then,
Or it don't feel as organic sometimes.
exactly,
You know?
exactly. But with not knowing who he is and constantly hearing like, go work with him, at least go to the studio, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, let me check it out, bro. Like, let me see what's going on. And then like through checking it out, I'm like, damn, I think it was Shadow Pines I heard.
Okay, yeah.
Love that song.
Mhm.
Like I genuinely got love for that song, bro. Like when it come on, I know the word, you know what I mean? And then what was another one? It was a whole bunch, but Shadow Pines was the main one. And then we was just listening to it. I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm gonna remember it by the end. Either way,
Right.
but it was these songs that made me reach out. Like I'm like, yo, like I hear Miguel, like not being disrespectful, but I hear Miguel when I hear you, not in the sense of you sound like him, but bro, we could do something together. Because when I think of like how our sounds could mesh, I'm thinking Miguel and Mac Miller. Like I think I said something along the lines of that. You know what I mean? When I messaged him, he like, okay, bet, let's do it. You know what I mean? And we put it together, and I held the song for like 2 years.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
As it goes.
Exactly. I held the song for like 2 years, and I'm like, as I'm listening to the, you know, again, I told you the project, it kind of just made itself over time. It wasn't like going into it, I know what I'm about to do. So as it was fleshing itself out, and I got this song, and I'm listening to it, I'm like, damn, this kind of relates to built-in growth.
Okay,
you know
nice.
I mean?
And that happens sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
So that's how it ended up, you know, coming about, like getting that set up.
Okay.
That's a quick question about that song as well. Yeah. So something I noticed across this particular project was that like you tend to kind of stray away a little bit from like hooks and choruses, except for that song. Like that song has a little bit more of a hooky kind of ending, and I feel like you, instead of placing like hooks, you kind of utilize that time and space for these like little monologue kind of things, soliloquy kind of things, or maybe more of a skit, maybe more of a, you know, like more, I guess
It made it more
live.
conversational.
Yeah, like a more dynamic sort of sound or more real life, or whether it's just like internal thoughts or it's like, what was the thought process with that as far as, you know, just building out your songs?
Okay, so the original monologue was from this show called The Magicians on Netflix. I'm not sure if y'all ever heard it. Honestly, it was just like one of them crazy like rare finds where you like just randomly click on some shit and then it be fire as hell.
Yeah, I've had
So
that for
it's
sure.
like So like I'm watching it and it was like the last ending, like the last episode of the series, and it just hit you. Like he was in a monologue about fillery or whatever, and he was like, you know, you ever think like what happens when you get what you want, or you know what I mean? I'm paraphrasing, but that hit me because it's like, damn, what do happen when you you get what you want, like, and it's not good enough. You know what I
Go
mean?
want
So
something else.
exactly. And with that, it was like, damn, no, this shit feels like relationship. Like, you know what I mean? What happens when you want that girl so bad? And then you get her, and then you start slacking off, and you know it's not everything that you thought it was gonna be, that you romanticized it to be. You know what I mean? So I kind of, when it gets deep like that, I kind of use those as think pieces. You know what I mean? Like you said, make it more conversational, and then just not wanting to overstay my welcome with songs. You know, so some songs I go and I make a chorus, and it's like, yeah.
I noticed that about some of your
easy.
older music. You know what I'm saying? You had songs that were like maybe like 3.5, something like that. Like usual, you know what I'm saying? You're going to do like a verse, a hook, another verse, maybe another hook, something like that. Looking back, but like now it's like you can do like that verse or maybe a hook, verse, bring the hook back in. You know what I'm saying? You got a minute 30 or something.
Yeah.
But you were saying too, I think earlier with Ben, that you were trying to make something that was a bit more consumable. Or how do I make something that kind of pushes my vision while also being something that people want to come back to or something like that. So
Yeah.
was that part of it that you were trying to do? Like maybe
100%.
Yeah.
Like trying to develop, like, what's that replay value?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How do I get that replay value? Because again, everything that I do is very much so intentional. Even down sometimes to like the minutes that I choose for the song to be. Like if it's 222, like I'm really into like that type of like messaging, not for myself but for other people. You know what I mean? Because somebody else gonna see that, and it could necessarily be a message for them that they need. You know what I mean? And I feel like the universe works like that, where it may not come to you specifically as this is what you need, but it may come to you through, you know, me and you having a conversation, or me and you having a conversation, and something just clicks like, nah, this was for me. You know what I mean? And you know it's for you because you get that, you know, that kind of calmness that come over you, like, no, I know this was the message that I was supposed to receive.
Oh yeah.
You know, so like I said, a lot of the times I am very much so intentional.
Yeah, nice. That's how you should be with art, man. I think we need definitely a lot more of that, of people that are more intentional. I think in the last, I almost want to even say like the last, even before maybe like the 2020s, like I feel like I was seeing so many strings of people that were just like, you know, I'm just in it to kind of, you know what I'm saying? I think like 6ix9ine might have been like the first person I seen really say like, I'm just kind of in it, I just started rapping like a month or two ago, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like a bag, so you know what I mean? So that's always interesting, bruh. I think it was, this was one I was really thinking about when I first listened to it, bro. I want to say it was either The Need to Know or Closer Than Close. Did you have a Kid Hazel beat on that one? There was like the sound of like the unsheathing on it.
The Closer Than Close?
It was either that one or The Need to Know. One of them, it sounded like you had like a few like producers on it. And I heard the tag. I was like, I'm for sure gonna have to ask him about that, bro, because I was like, that's pretty dope.
That beat was actually by Sav.
Word.
Beats by Sav. Like he do a lot of Rio beats and stuff like that.
Okay.
Mike, so that was actually one of his beats.
Okay, nice.
And then it was a couple other ones that I had got on that was on the project that was from Sav.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I just like that sound, that sheath sound. I knew exactly what you was talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That Closer Than Close.
Yeah. 21 Savage had like had a similar boy at the sheath, and I was like, hold on now. I was like the Leonardo DiCaprio me. I was like pointing out. I was like, I know that.
So I'm like, no, for sure.
I know exactly, bro. What do you think was your favorite song to write on this project? Or the one that you feel, I know they all were like, you know, impactful or real important, but what's one like I think that, or you felt was kind of significant, or like you was like, dang, I kind of remember how I really felt when I was like putting this together?
It'd have to be Closer Than Close. I know that's one that keep coming up. And Missed Calls.
Okay, I like
Missed Calls. I definitely enjoy writing Missed Calls just because it felt more And usually when people ask me to describe my sound, I don't know if I coined this, but like gritty sophistication.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where
I
it's
like
like,
that.
you know, it's like it's pain, but it's like I said, it's been packaged in a way where it's been neatly packaged. You know what I mean? So I would say that was like the first time where I'm like I came face to face with that actual phrase from my own observation is miscalls. Where it's like even the first lines is like too much on me. I don't need no help. I do my dirt all on my own. Like that in itself is like, nah, nigga, I really just like I said, my circle is probably too deep. You know what I mean? So it's like whenever I gotta do something, it's either me or it's nobody, you know? So yeah, I would say that was my favorite one.
Nice.
I need to do a quick break because what are we working on here?
Oh, this is I got a headpiece now.
Okay.
So now, yeah, so you see it's kind of like skull. I'm just kind of getting them nice little, getting them with
2D.
yeah. So now I'm like, I don't know which,
Right.
I don't know which eyes that I'm actually going
It
with.
looks like it's gonna be like cherry bomb, like how you
Oh,
said
man.
release the
That's hard.
like physical
So-
cherry bomb.
So look, I'm trying to, you know, dip in that inside, get that cranial curve at the back. You know what I mean? That hook. You know what I mean?
The hook in there. Bro.
So about yeah. Oh my wait, you got SpongeBob.
Yeah, hold on. Let me show off my SpongeBob real quick.
Go ahead.
He's a smooth SpongeBob dog. You might notice he's missing his.
Does this have a Steve Harvey mustache?
His crater.
Steve Harvey.
No, it's supposed to be like the lip lines of his.
Oh. He look like he's gonna say survey says.
go ahead.
cranial hook. Troy, what we got over here?
God, I don't know if this is
Gumby.
Mine look more like Gumby for sure,
I
bro.
don't even- Who's Gumby?
I've never seen
That might
Gumby.
be invincible.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, we
Okay,
put some
yeah.
yellow on that. We might be invincible.
Right.
Thank you.
I have noticed so far you have not really seemed to have I don't want to say expanded your color palette. I know we kind of got our own little like selections around.
Right.
Like are these like some of your favorite colors?
Nah, man. Honestly, I'm into simplicity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I don't really try to go too far outside the lines. Even when I draw, man, I don't even color. I like to keep my drawings just like plain drawings for real. Like people, can I color it? No. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Are you this is kind of outside of the realm of like music here, but I guess kind of maybe a light little transition here. Are you also a fan of like black and white movies, or you know, like those are real simple in like the viewing of them too?
That's crazy. Honestly, obviously I wouldn't expect people to know that about me, but I do.
A lot.
I actually like the old Twilight Zone shows.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That was like I really enjoyed those, and then when they brought it back, like I was super into it. But yeah, I can get down with some silent films or some black and white films, man.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Even some Buster Keaton and stuff like
You
that.
have like a ranking of
Right.
You know, like this is kind of a niche area.
I'm not gonna say like I'm super versed in them,
Okay.
but I'm not opposed to if it came on. Like, you know, I love art in all forms. You know what I mean? So I've seen just recently I was working on when I was writing Not Another Romance, I had came across one of Buster Keaton's like short films.
Okay.
I can't remember the name right now, but it was like somewhere along the lines of like romance and stuff like that, where like he thought he had drank some poison or something. And it was not at all, but bro was like bugging out, you know, the whole
no.
like 13 minutes, 20 minutes of the show.
Just tweaking.
Yeah. And no sound. So it's like
Bruh.
to be that expressive, you know what I mean? And to get your point across with just like body language and facial expressions again, like that's powerful, bro. So yeah, I can get down with silent films, man, and black and white films.
And I guess kind of related still. Like how would you I guess describe like if your music had like a physical shape? Like how would you try to describe that? Maybe not necessarily how we're getting these Play-Dohs, you know, together, but yeah.
Say if I could put a shape to it.
Yeah. And even if it's like maybe the idea of your sound, maybe because that can be really broad. It could be some of the songs on your latest release that you put out, or maybe your favorite song. Like how would you like? Where does your brain go immediately when you're like, if I had to give this some shape?
My initial response would be water.
Okay.
It's just like I can't necessarily like plasma. You know what I mean? I don't
Okay,
necessarily
okay.
know if that has a shape, but whatever you put it in, it takes the shape of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I would say my artistry is very flexible. Just because I like exploring. Like I gotta really explore the nature. So even just you telling me I can't do something is gonna make me want to go do it. You know what I mean? And really strive to prove you wrong in a sense. You know what I mean? So I would say it is definitely doesn't have a solid form. 'Cause like, and I like to think of myself as a chameleon. Like, you know, whatever room you put me in, depending on the vibes, depending on the people, like you're gonna get a different version of me.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So 100%, I would say water. You know what I mean? That's the shape of water, man.
Great sight.
Yeah, for real.
one?
For real.
Wait, is that the one with the?
With the freaking like
And they
the
fell in
alien
love.
thing, yeah, like
Oh,
water
man.
Yeah.
alien monster thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, we saw
went to
that
see it,
at the
yes.
theaters
Word.
together. Yeah, like
What
2
was that
years ago.
experience like, man?
I don't think
Sitting
any
in-
of us knew what that movie was about. We just
Exactly.
like walked in. It was
can
I
imagine.
remember how I felt walking out though.
Oh yeah, I remember the
What was
conversation.
the takeaway? What was
What
don't
did we
keep
just
that.
get- What did we just like view?
Man,
Yeah.
no, it was definitely different.
100%, 100%.
And then it went on to win like how many Oscars?
Hey, but that's what's his name that did Frankenstein though, right?
Guillermo.
Guillermo. So hey,
Del Toro?
yeah, he was working with something, and we know that much. I can't even pick up the.
Yeah, sorry.
It's just gonna be there. Okay.
Yeah.
You pressed it in. Yo,
Man, so it's on there, man.
bro, like what?
Yeah.
And okay, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, you good, you good.
Got you. Well, since we were, you mentioned your style is more of the chameleon or more of the flexible. I know this one is very, very fresh, but maybe thinking about maybe where you're going forward, do you have a specific maybe avenue that you haven't maybe tried before or a sound you maybe haven't tried before that you're like, man, I can't wait to really, try this or, how do you have any thoughts like that, about your music?
Always. And I
Okay.
think that it comes like right now I'm working on because I rarely dive into the lane for like women
Okay.
and like making like love songs or making songs that's like actually like tailored for women audiences.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of my stuff is based in grind or based in perseverance. And though those are general topics that every human experience has, it's like, nah, but what's that factor for? Because again, I feel like not only is it general, but guys can more so gravitate towards that. But what do I have for my women supporters, or how am I catering to them? You know what I mean? And not necessarily catering to them, but how am I?
And they enjoy to
packaging.
be catered to now.
Of course, they definitely deserve, definitely deserve to be catered to.
Ain't nothing
but-
wrong with that.
No,
Just
no,
saying.
But I don't want to say catered in the sense of as if I'm doing this purposely for the reasoning of
Understood,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm still expressing myself and I still want to do it in a way that's respectful, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
To women. But I would say, yeah, just being intentional on that, like focusing on how can I get that sound across and like, how do I fall into that range?
Okay.
So be Jack Harlow.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying?
Hey.
Just leave the big
hats alone, man. It's all about let Mos Def do what he do best, man.
I ain't even gonna hold you. You probably do a better job.
Talking about, look, I got at least some type of credibility, man.
For real. That whole situation is just
Nah, and I think when I say that too, I think that that's more so from the standpoint of like what I've been, because I don't keep up on news. I don't watch news. Like,
okay.
I know that's probably like a cardinal sin.
No. Look, there's never. What do they say? Too much of one thing is never good.
Yeah.
And I think the news is one thing. I actually just had a conversation with someone about this. I posted on my Instagram note saying your addiction to information will not save you. And he hit me up and he was like, what are you talking about? Like, what does that mean? And I was like, dude, I was not in a good space, but it was because I was constantly, trying to stay up. So no,
Informed.
So don't feel bad about stepping away. That's cool.
They say what they say, ignorance is bliss.
So, hey,
Yeah,
to a certain degree.
he said
Wow.
sometimes, man.
Yeah.
So, but honestly, I in terms of that, or in reference to that, like not watching news, I think it's just more so of just the manifestation aspect of it. You know, like if I don't introduce that into my reality, like what is the actual, if I'm not observing that, what's the actual probability of it introducing itself into my immediate space? Not saying that it's not going on, because there's obviously, we live in a multiverse. There's realities that's happening and there's a reality that we agree upon, but
Whoa.
you know what I mean?
Taking
Like,
us there. Okay. All right.
like that's, yeah, I can get that deep sometimes, bro. Just let me know, man.
No, this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
Well, that's dope though. Okay. So, all right. Next one I'm gonna ask you is maybe what is one song that you almost didn't put out on the latest one? On B.I.G. You lost the play though. We lost one.
So
I got it.
You got it? Okay, bet. One that almost didn't get released.
Yeah. Or well, I can't ask you about any that didn't make it because we won't know about them until
Until they release.
Yeah.
Honestly, Not Another Romance, that was supposed to go on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that kind of ended up getting taken off at the last second, because it just did not go with the actual vibe of the
I
song.
saw you put it out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Again, that goes again being intentional with like
Timing.
the drops and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like again, that was like a love related song, even though it wasn't generally like a ballad or like saying I'm in love. It was like drop it on Valentine's Day and see how it's received, because everybody's already in this mindset anyway. So it's like I'm already trying to throw this fishing rod out and see what can I catch anyway. So why not? You know what I mean? Go for it. So yeah, that almost didn't make it, and it just did not coincide with what the rest of the project was. So I was like, yeah, we can put that to the side.
Just save it for later.
Yeah.
A little
Gotcha.
promotional single.
Exactly. Talking about, come on, man, you got insiders, bro.
Right. I'm gonna say, how's the Play-Doh looking?
Yeah, look, man.
Okay,
Come
that's
on,
hard.
man. We going a little bit further. A little bit further. Look, so the screen, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm about to say, I ain't
Starry
too much for that
Nights,
one.
a little bit of that vibe.
Been a culture.
And I'm gonna say no. This is kind of gone more in the movie realm. Do you like have anything on like when you're when I say on like no, it probably would be like either movie, TV, maybe anime or something like when you're in the studio when we're working on stuff, or is it just I'm here to work?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. It just definitely depends on what it is that I'm going for. So for the project, a lot of it was a lot of binge watching Netflix, and kind of just as ideas was coming to me, I'm like, no, this could be a song, and like rocking with it like that. And then other times, like I might just pick one show that I'm watching right now,
Okay.
and stick with it. Like right now, I'm watching That 70s Show.
Nice.
So you know, I mean, while I'm in the studio, it's like I got that, like Mac Miller watching movies with the sound off. Like you got the sound off, but I'm still looking at body language. You know what I mean? Those type of things still draw creativity out of me. So I definitely still have something playing. You know what I mean? Like, and I haven't gotten into anime as deep as I want to.
Okay.
But there is some that I have, like, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna say, don't feel like you gotta,
Look.
You gotta prove nothing.
Dragon Ball Z is one.
Right.
Okay.
Dragon Ball Z is obviously, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z.
Okay,
Yu-Gi-Oh, Boondocks, those is, I feel like just, you gonna get those. Those is givens, right?
type, yeah.
But then you got the more offlandish shit. Like my cousin, he introduced me to like High School DD or something like that.
Okay.
And I'm like, right. I'm like, right.
That's a crazy joke.
It's a jump. It's a jump from like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Like, but then it's like
said, I know you'll love this one.
right? He said, "Yo, wait till you get a hold of this one."
Dog,
So
that's
again,
hilarious.
like Naruto adjacent with like the
Yeah.
sexy clone jutsu and shit like that. Like he's
He
like
said, imagine that, but it's the whole show.
times 10, bro. Like,
Literally.
times
The whole
10.
show,
Literally.
man.
So it's like, yeah, we got those ones, or like High School of the Undead or something like that.
Oh,
It's different spectrums. You get what I'm saying?
we
So
can give you some other recs.
you gonna
too,
have
bro.
to. You gonna
Yeah,
have
I
to,
got
bro.
you.
Like
I got
you gonna have Wholesome House, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Wholesome House,
That's
nah.
about animal.
For sure.
Yo, that's funny though.
Come on, I told you I'm an open book, bro. Like I tell you whatever you need to know, man. What's up?
I got you.
Yeah.
What to say, man? they done got to a lot of the things I wanted to ask you about. Like one thing you were talking about, well, one thing that I was surprised about was you said you was holding on to a song for like 2 years, and then that was the one I think you said with
Damn.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I guess maybe this is more of advice to people that are also making music or wanting to put out things that they create. How you manage to hold on to it for so long? Because I'm the type of person where if I'm holding on to it, it's probably not coming out ever. And that's been like a big personal kind of like challenge for me where I'm like, maybe it's just not where it needs to be sonically or, X, Y, and Z, but it still needs to be put out.
Right.
You still got to get that feedback. So for you and your journey, how has it been like knowing, or how have you been able to know which ones I'm gonna hold on to, which ones I'm like, all right, now this is the one is going. It doesn't need to wait.
Me personally, I want to release everything I make immediately after I make it. Like, like I'm not trying to hold on to anything. Like if I didn't have Red in the studio telling me like, no, don't let nobody hear it. Like hold on to that one. Like if she wasn't like the one that was like kind of like that button pusher on. And I guess I can say I kind of allowed her to take on that role because I know I'm eager and I might jump the gun.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean? And nothing worth actually having is built like that. It take time and it take a gestation period for things to align. And
Right.
Even just again with the world in itself, it may not be ready to take on that subject matter or whatever the case may be for that song. It may not be ready for that message. So, if I didn't necessarily have her in my corner and being like, yo, no, hold off. Like, she wouldn't even let family hear the song. It's like, if I'm trying to go put on the song, no, hey, turn that shit off, turn it off. Like, for real. And I'm like, damn, like come on, my dad, right? This is my dad. Like, and she like, no, like, absolutely not. You know
You
what I
signed the
mean?
NDA. You can't drop that.
Oh God,
You can't
it's
say
like
that,
Death
yeah.
Row Records for real, bro. And she the CEO, man. Like,
Hey, shout out Red though.
nah, for sure. And I think if I never had that and I didn't see the value in waiting and holding off on things and at least building a catalog to continue the momentum, you know what I mean? Because that also plays a big role in everything, regardless on whether it's music, sports or whatever. Like, it's ultimately the momentum and the consistency that you put out that brings people to you and makes people want to tap into what you, at least from my perspective, you know what I mean? It's the knowing that I can rely that you're going to be there when I'm going, when I'm going through something or when I want to hear you, and I think that in my artistry in the past, I always would drop and then disappear. Drop and then disappear. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
It's easy to do that.
it is.
Yeah.
It's very easy to fall into that
Was there
habit.
like a little moment on this project where is that your dad or like who's speaking where kind of referring to, and I don't know, there's like a discussion where you guys are talking about like social media and like making sure that you're visible and all that kind of stuff.
100%.
It's funny
100%.
that you kind of bring that up.
That actually was my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good catch for sure. And even that, like little conversations like that, like I said, the universe just offering you this information and you just being receptive to accepting it. You know what I mean? I think plays a big part in just the creative process as a whole. You know what I mean? Like knowing that my music may not be where I want it to be, but it's where it needs to be in order for whoever wants to receive it. You know what I mean? I may not be the best artist right now, but I'm the best artist for right now. You know what I mean? And knowing that I'm still growing towards that proverbial ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those.
Nice. And I can tell you that's definitely like something that keeps you going too. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like the USA, maybe I'm not the best like right now or whatever. I think you're pretty good. So I'm not trying to go down that route. But like I really like that attitude of, just kind of keeping it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And again, built-in growth. It's no reason for me to feel like it's nowhere else for me to go. You know what I mean? Especially when It's 7 billion people in the world, bro. Like, you can't hit everybody with one drop. Like, you can't hit everybody with 10 drops. Like, you
Right,
know
we
what
can
I
try.
mean? You can try.
And it's thousands and thousands of albums and like songs, everything that come out like a day. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And it's like, what is it that I'm saying or trying to like contribute or something to someone that they haven't already heard, or they're like, I can get this from some other artist, or you know what I'm saying? Like, how is this really going to impact me?
100%.
Is always like an important thing to kind of discuss or kind of think of with your art. So
I agree. And when you have so many options and you have so much noise, it's like, how do you cut through it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, what is that thing? What is that determining factor? And I think that's also why I enjoy psychology, is because it's like being able to not only analyze yourself, but analyze the outside world and understand how to communicate more efficiently. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's ultimately what my job is as a hip hop artist, anyways, is communication.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, this is when it's time for to wrap up anyway. So.
Okay.
Got you.
Oh yeah.
Talking about, yes, yeah, we got exclusives too, man. Talking about, so
First for that.
First.
I don't think we've had anybody come through
first,
before.
nobody
Kinda
ever
crazy.
brought
I
a.
like merch.
No.
Sure not.
Come on, man. We got exclusives. Got the Cruel Winning. Nobody got these drops yet, man. So I want to make sure.
There you go. Make sure you give it to him.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Yes, sir. We'll show this camera too. Maybe you can zoom in on that when we editing it. You know what I'm saying? Got
Yes,
Cruel
sir.
Winter.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying? He cold, but he all right.
You feel me? We getting to
He
it
gonna
and
be all
getting
right.
through it. Getting to it and getting through it.
Exactly.
man.
He gonna make it through. Oh, and that's
Hey.
dope on the back. It says winter made, winter worn.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
fire
You got
too.
the
Yeah, we gotta get all the
yes,
details.
sir. Yes, sir.
Got the hold on, here we go.
little
The
Cruel Winning
cool
tag.
winter
the
tag
side.
on
that's
it.
nice.
And the
Look.
guy on the sleeve
Come
too.
on, man. Little hit.
That's fire,
Little
bro.
hit. And then you got you got one of these two on this
On
sleeve.
the other sleeve?
Yes, sir.
That's hard.
Oh, I
That's
didn't see
hard.
that.
Yes,
Say
sir.
try to utilize as much space on the shirt rather than just giving like one simple
Yeah.
logo. You know what I mean? Like,
Nah, that's fire.
yeah,
Tough.
love, man. Definitely had to make sure I lace my guys up, bro. Like, this is an experience in itself. You know what I mean? So, got to make sure I show love to y'all, bro. And I appreciate y'all
sir.
having me, man.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Say my God, Ben, but
Yeah. But I guess I'm gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been Wholesome podcast. This has been another one of our spotlights. They seem to just keep getting better and better. We got merch this time.
You know what I mean?
What?
We
That's
really official out
crazy.
here, bro.
That's
Bless
nuts.
Bless
And we absolutely appreciate you coming through. I guess in our closing, is there any like lasting thing you want our audience to know? You know, whether it is like, hey, obviously check out the release of Strouds, but is it like a specific, one on there, like, hey y'all, check this one out, or anything you want to add?
honestly, I would say just I want y'all to form your opinion, on the project. I will appreciate you listening to it, you know what I mean, and deciding what your favorite one is. I can tell you my favorite one is Closer Than Close. I can tell you my second favorite one is More Than Ever, but
There we
that's
go.
first and last. But for you, it might be something different. You know what I mean? So I would definitely say check out Built-In Growth, man. Figure out which one is your favorite and which one is most resonating to you, you know. And then outside of that, we just got more music, more merch. As you can see, my guys got exclusives, man. This is the first actual like press ups of these shirts, man. So
That's hard.
nobody else got these
What?
shirts right now. So 100%. We got that on the way. We got, again, obviously this going for us, bro. So Cruel Winter is it's about consistency right now, and maintaining the momentum that we already built. So
All right.
other than that, man, Winter made, for real.
Go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Danny M. Thank you guys.
Oh, blessings.
Yeah.